So, first off, can you just explain what TIRRC stands for and what you all do?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So Turk is the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition. It is the C3 organization, and we also have our C4 political arm, which is Turk Votes. We have that privilege to be able to utilize our power in our C3 arm, but also politically, right?
And what would you say TIRRC's mission is for Tennessee?
Yeah, so we are, a multicultural organization here that is basically, a collaborate of, making sure that we're able to include our communities in the movement, right, for immigrant rights. And that starts at, including our directly impacted community members at the forefront of our work, right? And essentially striving to create a Tennessee where all of our communities have opportunities and access to opportunities to thrive in.
So, can you tell me a little bit about the summer series I saw on your Instagram? It just launched. It's on criminal justice and the immigration system.
Absolutely, yeah. So we, as a lot of folks know, there is a huge overlap and intersection with the criminal legal system and the immigration system. So much so that it even has a name, right? They call it crimmigration. So basically, there is a U.S. Supreme Court case, the Padilla case, which basically set the precedent for when it comes to prosecutions and anything within the criminal legal system, that folks should take into account that double punishment or the immigration consequences of a case, right? So right now, through this incredible new opportunity that we have with the National Public Defenders, it allows us to have the tools and resources for our communities to be able to navigate such a complex system, right? And historically, we've been left out of these conversations and of these opportunities to be able to have these tools to be able to what do we do whenever after a traffic stop or anything like that, and then as a lot of times, more often than not, ICE is trying to find different ways to enter our communities, right? Whether that's with specific contracts or not, they always find ways to enter our communities and essentially create family separation, right? So what we're doing with this is making sure that our communities are aware of what's happening. They know what to do. They know how to plan. And they are equipped with what is needed to be able to handle that intersection between the two systems, right?
And are these only in person, or can you watch them like online or?
Yeah, so with the classes, they will be in person, but I believe that there is options for folks, if they can't make it, to be able to tune in, from wherever they may be.
And you all have like other workshops too, like the English learning classes and integration services. So you all do a lot for the community and their needs and try to help them as much as possible.
Absolutely. And with what I was saying, right, it's our main goal is to create communities where everyone can thrive, right? So whether that's having English classes for folks, we have our COVID vaccine drives and whatnot, and what we really emphasize here at Turk is that all of our different teams and our different departments work together to carry out our mission and to carry out these opportunities, right? So our services team is over here working with English classes and COVID vaccines and all that. Our legal department is over here, providing immigration legal services and the National Public Defender's opportunities, you know what I mean? And then we have our organizing folks going out into the communities and making sure that they know, what it is that we're doing, what campaigns they can join, so that they are able to participate and engage with everything that we have going on.
Yeah, and then you could find out how to volunteer on the website, right?
Absolutely, yes. So all volunteer and internship opportunities are available on our website. We have a lot of them, especially, with our C4 political arm, TIRRC Votes. We have elections coming up. So we have opportunities to, have folks knock on doors, make phone calls, all of that good stuff for, showing our power when it comes to elections and the different races coming up.
Speaking of politics, let's move on and let's talk about the workforce expansion bill. Can you just explain what that does and everything about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So, again, through TIRRC Votes, we were able to, make this happen, right? We have built since 2018 that political infrastructure to be able to, be at the legislature every legislative session and advocating for legislation that positively impacts us or against negative legislation, right? So after a lot of being on the defensive, we knew that it was time for us to proactively approach this in a more aggressive manner and say, hey, it's time for our communities to have a victory. So for years, we've had community members reach out to us saying, hey, I'm going to school. I graduated. I wanted to become a teacher, right? Or I wanted to become a nurse or go to cosmetology school, barbering school. And unfortunately, they weren't allowed access to professional licenses, right? Because of what the current law states. And this current law was created back in 2012. And basically what it does is that it only allows access to professional licenses to folks who are citizens or folks who are lawfully present. So what that means is that it excluded so many of our community members, for example, DACA recipients, TPS holders, asylum seekers, anyone who already has, a work authorization, right? So we said, this can't continue, so we have to do something about this. We have to, build a campaign around this. So our campaign was completely built and progressed through directly impacted community members, right? They're the ones that came to us. They're the ones that led this entire work. They're the ones that went to legislators to find a sponsor, to talk to other legislators on like, hey, what is it that we can do? Here's why it's impacting me. Here's why you need to do this, right? So that happened. We started this back in January, February when the legislature began. And so what we did was we went and strategically advocated for this piece of legislation, and our community members were able to reach that finish line. And so back in April, late April, it passed the House and it passed the Senate, passed all the committees and everything nice and easy. And, we finally got to the final vote and it passed and the governor signed it. Governor Billy signed it. And, it was a huge effort that was bipartisan, right? So we had our House sponsor, who was State Representative Bob Freeman, who was a Democrat, and we had our state senator sponsor, who is Senator Shane Reeves, Republican, right? So it was support from both sides of the aisle, and we were able to, make this about, how this will not only impact the economy, but also, the opportunities that this will create for our community members.
Yeah, and First off, that's so amazing that you all did that. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for everyone that gets to benefit from this. Like, finally, I'm
Absolutely.
so
No, no.
happy.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's an incredibly, it's a historic victory.
Yeah.
This is the first piece of legislation, that we've been able to pass, and hopefully here's to many more, and so we're so excited. We had our community celebration just last week, so we're making sure that we're able to cherish these victories, and making it clear that while right now there isn't relief coming from the federal government, that we're going to create that change with and alongside our communities.
Yes. Again, I'm so excited. That's such a huge thing. But you did talk about there have been some anti-immigrant bills that we've seen this year and even last year. One that we saw was House Bill 1648. So I have these written down so I don't mess up the numbers. And this one would have given schools the option to refuse to enroll undocumented students, and then, bar districts from receiving state funds for educating the children. And then you've seen House Bill 2222, and then others. There have been a lot of unnecessary bills, and another one about the border. And it's just like,
Right.
why do we keep doing this? I mean, what does this say to like those who want to come here? Like, to me, it would just be like, okay, I guess Tennessee doesn't want me here. Like what does it say to them? And how do you guys like try to just like fight this?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, these are absolutely nonsensical and cruel pieces of legislation, right? And then they're pieces of legislation that we've seen year after year, and what I think is what we're doing is saying, hey, year after year, we have defeated these pieces of legislation. You know what I mean? So it's really making sure that our communities know the power that we have, and making sure that we are showcasing to our communities that they're the ones that are out here defeating these legislations that are coming after their humanity, and trying to make it a state that makes it as hard as possible for immigrants to succeed, and have the wants and needs that they want addressed, right? So what I think, our view on it is that we've defeated these pieces of legislation that come after our community members, right? And the way that we like to see it is that, yes, they're horrible pieces of legislation, but on the other side, they're defeated because of the power that we have. You know what I mean? And again, as I mentioned, they come up year after year, and year after year, here we are, and our communities will continue to be here to fight against these pieces of legislation, and something else. It's not just the bills, right? It's more than that, right? It's the narratives that are being perpetuated, that come from these pieces of legislation, and something that we like to say is that narrative shapes policy, so the way that people are talking about folks, or people are they're making that into the public opinion, and from the public opinion that turns into policy, and through some of that policy, it harms our community members, right? So that is why that is a big piece of why Turk Votes exists. It's to start changing that narrative, and to just show the shift that is happening in the New South. You know what I mean? Showing that our communities are here. We are going to continue to fight for communities where we can all thrive and succeed. So yeah.
And is there anything else that I didn't touch on that you wanted to add? Or
I think no, I think you covered it. As far as Turk Votes go, we are extremely excited for this historic victory. Not only holding the line against the anti-immigrant piece of legislation, but also that our community is continuing to see that power that they have, you know what I mean, with this huge victory that we had in passing this proactive piece of legislation, right? And I think that it's just, you know, a true testament to not only the power that exists in our communities here in Tennessee, but also, you know, across the South, you know, that has historically come out of the South, you know, historic power that has come from Southern organizers and Southern folks, right? And that's exactly what we want to continue to do, and just continue to shift that narrative, and you know, fighting and advocating for you know, moments and more celebrations, you know what I mean? So I think that that's one piece that I'd like to add, you know, just that we're here, and that we're going to continue to be visible and continue to provide opportunities for our community members, where we can all, you know, live here and belong here and thrive here. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think I touched on everything that I wanted to ask about. Like I said, you can go on your website to volunteer, to donate, and if you want to look at the workshops and stuff too, you can do that, right?
Yes, absolutely. So on our social media, we always post our opportunities that we have, you know, from internship, volunteer, or job opportunities, right? And also, yes, so we always post our flyers and you know, workshops and community events that we're hosting. We just got an awesome new building. It's a beautiful, awesome building that we welcome folks to come out to and check out. And that's where we're wanting to, you know, create, you know, a hub for folks to come here and feel welcome, and see the different opportunities that we have here. But yeah, so yeah, our website, social media is where folks can go to join us.